In Minnesota, wolves and humans have long had a complicated relationship. Prior to white settlement, wolves roamed statewide. Until as recently as 1965, there was a bounty for killing wolves in Minnesota. However, such policies almost completely eradicated wolves in the continental U.S., and the gray wolf was placed on the endangered species list in 1967 and given full protection in 1974. At the time of listing, the wolf population had dropped to about 500 wolves. After a substantial recovery over the next quarter century, wolves were completely removed from the endangered species list in the western Great Lakes region in December 2011. The first wolf hunt in Minnesota started on November 3, 2012. That brings us to today, where the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources and other scientists are analyzing the impact of the wolf hunt. Regardless of their findings, however, the controversy surrounding the issue is unlikely to die down anytime soon. A large amount of opposition to the wolf hunt comes from animal rights advocates. They are concerned because previous Minnesota wolf management policies called for a 5-year waiting period after delisting before allowing a hunt. They feel there is not enough information available to have a safe, population-stable hunt.
I'd say the wolf hunt was a reckless rush to hunt the wolves. And so what I saw was both a process that was damaged in conjunction with special interests trying to have a wolf hunt for a very long time.
Some who value animal rights are uncomfortable with the idea more generally.
Honestly, I think calling it a hunt is not really using the right terminology. What they're proposing is more like extermination in my mind.
Scientists with the University of Minnesota and the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources feel confident that they have the population information needed to manage a wolf hunt and preserve population.
The objective of the Minnesota Wolf Management Plan is to ensure the survival of the wolf and to address conflicts between wolves and humans.
They feel that the conflict about wolf hunting is not a scientific question.
The real conflict about wolf hunting is not a biological one. Rather, it's a political or cultural one between people who just don't want to see wolves killed and others who take satisfaction in hunting or trapping them.
However, other scientists question their methods and feel they are not adequate to reliably establish the wolf population.
This was being done in a scientific way. We would do replicates. We would have one person go out and study the wolves and make a judgment about how many, and another person would go to the very same area, do the same thing, and maybe several people would. And then we would look at the variability between those judgments.
Regardless of the scientific consensus or lack thereof, the wolf has important cultural value in Minnesota as well. For hunters, hunting is more than recreation. It is an important part of family traditions and connecting with nature.
Hunting is loved by many of us. You know, it's part of our heritage, something our grandparents did and our great-grandparents. It's something that we want to pass to our kids. It's our connection with nature.
For farmers, wolves represent a threat to their culture, investment, and livelihood. On the other hand, Native Americans are opposed to the wolf hunt because of an important cultural and spiritual connection with wolves. The wolf hunt is far from a foregone conclusion. In Minnesota, the state Senate is considering a 5-year moratorium on wolf hunting. Nationally, the Humane Society, with several other wildlife organizations, have filed a lawsuit against the U.S. Fisheries and Wildlife Service. They argue that the gray wolf was inappropriately delisted from the endangered species list, and that state management policies in favor of hunting demonstrate that federal protection is needed for wolves. Clearly, there are many viewpoints and perspectives to take into account on this issue.
Make a judgment about
to ensure the
conflict.
Solutions to that. But right now,
so where do we go from here? Based on the currently available evidence, the data suggests that the wolf population can sustain a hunt. However, there are many methodological, political, and ethical questions left unanswered regarding this issue. To a certain extent, the views of animal rights advocates and those of hunters and farmers are irreconcilable. But even beyond these differences, the wolf hunt raises important questions. At what point do we have enough information to make a decision? Does the fact that an animal was recently an endangered species change the burden of proof? How do we make decisions on this issue despite incomplete information? In touch with